Steve.
I'm Rogers.
This is the Florida Cracker Chronicles, episode
Cinco. That's 5
the Cinco.
in America.
So last episode we touched on sketchy characters that you meet while working at the bar that just come out off the street and you have to deal with them.
The
and serve them.
creatures that come out of the woodworks every night. That's what they are. They're creatures.
You ever get that feeling like someone walks through the door and you're like, I don't want to talk to that person?
Every day of my life.
Is that everyone or anyone in general? Or
I
like
see you come in
everyone?
this place and I'm like, oh, damn it. I saw you walk in the door earlier.
But I always yell, honey, I'm home. Whatever.
Honey, I'm home, man. I'm hard of hearing, sorry.
Yeah, there are some people that like you've known that you served before and they show up again like nothing ever happened. I guess maybe they're just so blacked out and they're just like, hey, friend. I'm like, dude, you threatened to kill me like 10 times last night and we had to bounce you. They're like, that wasn't me. I shit you not. They're like, nah, it was the other guy. I'm like, dude, no, man. And then you have to like argue with them why you need them to leave. And then that creates a scene, an altercation of itself. Like literally yelling at someone to get off the premises, like your property, and they're just like, they're looking at you like so confused, like what? I thought we were bros. Like, dude, we are not bros. Threatened to kill me about 3-4 times. I'm starting to question our association, our affiliation.
Pay your tab and get out of here. My brother, as you know, is massive. He's a big old boy, and he's got a bunch of big old boy friends, and they're bouncers at the pub.
The way you stated that.
And what?
Big old boyfriends.
Yeah, got a couple big old boy friends. No, and that's what they do. They bounce at a very popular nightclub bar establishment.
A bunch of bears.
No.
I mean, he's as big as a bear, but yeah, that could be misconstrued.
Anyway,
He's gonna be on the show, right?
Yeah, he will be.
We're not gonna say that we called him a bear, but he might see this.
He might see this one. Sorry. You're like a big teddy bear, but like a teddy bear that you wouldn't want to fuck with.
Yeah.
Anyway, besides the point. Sorry, Imran.
See you soon.
He sent me a video the other day of some dude with his pants pulled halfway down in the parking lot.
Hell yeah.
And like the sidewalk right out front. And he was like, yeah, I tried to swing on one of the other bouncers.
At what point
they like tossed him onto the floor. Yeah, it looked nasty. And then I saw it on I saw it on Instagram later too.
But his pants were down?
Yeah, his underwear was out.
I wonder at what point that happened or why.
I don't know. He was
can
very
elaborate on it, I'm
he was
sure.
very beyond intoxicated.
He
was just laying on the floor like.
I have heard from other, like, not that we were, but comedians that the number one like best surefire way to like get out of a fight, start getting buck naked.
Oh.
But I still feel like the bouncers are gonna throw you out.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But
you're just gonna have to be naked.
What happens whenever you're naked and you're knocked out? Then you're just stupid for getting naked.
And also imagine the road rash on certain places as you're like sliding. Assuming you do slide or roll.
Maybe you feel like sweaty and you're a little bit slippery.
Maybe you know that this is gonna happen, so you like get all lubed up and like spray or like lathered up. And
so what about those creatures that come out?
Oh yeah. You mentioned parking lot and scenes or obscene things happening in parking lots. Yeah. So one night, this is just another thing that always comes back to my mind, and I chuckled to myself later that evening and just whatever.
Chuckle.
Yeah. As I'm laying there. Anyways, one night, I think I was out back taking trash. It was like my bar bag, my former years. And I noticed, or someone noticed, we happened to be out there together. Like, it was like the kitchen cook or whatever, or another bartender on a cigarette break. And clearly there was a car parked right out back of the establishment where we were all hanging out. And
like
stuff.
in the alley?
Like on the other
Like
side
out
of the
back,
yeah. Like where there's like still like neon signs and lights and stuff, like the back parking lot
I know
lights.
exactly what you're
It's
talking
like everything's illuminated, obviously.
It's the back entrance.
Yeah. But like we're like on the kitchen side, so we're off to the side, but we can see like everything that's going on in the back parking lot, whatever. So we have one of us happens to spot like we see something in a car that's facing us, and we're just like, oh hey man, like they start pointing. You see what's going on there? Like look over there, or whatever. Like no what? And then at this point in time, there's like 4 or 5 of us out there because we're just like watching, like we're like laughing and just like pointing and whatever. You see this blonde, assuming girl, her head's going up and down in this dude's car, and the guy's just like leaned back, just like chilling. And
He didn't see you? He didn't see all 5 of you watching?
I don't remember, but I feel like if you're already in that, like...
Just keep going.
It's like, you're like,
What
no, hey, stop doing that.
Lose.
Yeah, right? Yeah, like, how are we going to be like... What are we supposed to do? Like, we're not the morality police or whatever. The morale police. But,
You're just the weirdos watching.
Yeah, I know, yeah, so I'm thinking, like, I don't remember watching for too long because it was kind of, like, awkward and, like, just whatever. But we were, like, laughing and making jokes about it. That, I guess what the funny part was they thought they were, like, concealed in the privacy of their own car, but the problem with that is there's fucking lights shining on everything back there. Maybe they're probably just too drunk, whatever, to even give a shit. So anyways, towards the end of the night, like it's last call, lights come on, and that's when like everyone's kind of chilling, like taking a break from like all the craziness of like serving, like once lights hit on, you're like, oh, I don't have to serve anymore, so I can just like hang back for like 5 minutes, like take a cigarette break or whatever, or pour myself a beer or whatever the fuck you want to do, or just talk to your actual friends or coworkers and shoot the shit or whatever. And then we noticed that one of our buddies' coworkers is like nowhere to be found. And then like as we're starting to like clean up and get to work and shit, we start pulling everyone together and we're like, where's so-and-so? We're like, I think he's out back. So then of course someone goes out back and then comes running back to tell us like, yo, dude, you're not going to fucking believe this. We're like, what? And they're like, so-and-so, aka our buddy, coworker, is out back making out with that blonde girl. And for the record, that is not who she was with earlier.
Oof.
And we all just go, no! Like, but
no way.
You're like, yeah, you're watching.
He wasn't one of the people out there watching, was he?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I don't think he would have done that.
You never know, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think he would have done that. Pretty smart kid.
She's open for business. She's open for business.
Yeah, but not enough mouthwash and disinfectant that you could...
There's not enough bleach and ammonia in the world, man.
Jesus. But yeah, so it's like you're hearing something like bad news that you have no way of stopping or preventing, and it's already happening. You're just like, well, that ship has sailed and it's crashing and burning right now. And then I'm pretty sure to this day, I guess since it's going to be on the internet, I'm telling the story, I'll find out whether or not that he knows this happened and that it was him. But it still fucking gets me to this day.
Oh, so if he's watching this, he just found that out.
He may have no idea that we're even talking about him at all. But
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it is like one of those things that you just, it's better left unsaid.
Yeah.
There's no point in being like, hey, remember that one time? Like, there's no, it's like,
you know that transvestite that you...
I didn't know, bro. No. And then, like, ironically, I'm not even kidding, like 5 years later, because I remember that girl's face, because they're just like, I was like, ugh, it just like sticks in your head or whatever.
Yes.
I'm serving on the patio bar, different restaurant, I'm by myself outside, and she happens to show up like on her own, like just alone, whatever, having like.
She's scouting.
No, I think she was just chilling or whatever, like after work, whatever, just having like a drink by herself, and I'm like, oh, that's that.
Did you tell her we don't serve dick?
No, but I definitely remember. I was like, "Oh, you're that girl." Yeah. And yeah, so I served her or whatever. And it was like last call, and she like closes her tab and leaves, and I pick up the receipts or whatever, and she leaves me her number. And I'm just like, "Yeah, no, dude.
You're going.
There's no way."
She didn't happen to write it in the tip line though.
Nah, but I was just thinking to myself, I'm like. She shot her shot, but I mean, there's no freaking way I could ever like even entertain that thought.
There's always
because the first thing I'm gonna think about is how nasty your fucking mouth is, and I don't even know who knows what you just did coming here or before you walked up to the bar, or whatever parking lot you left prior to that. It's like it's like you see someone do something, and I like 5 years later I'm just like,
it's like
you.
How do I know you didn't just blow some dude off in the parking lot before you came in here?
Exactly. That's my thought
process.
Give
me your phone number.
I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 2, 3, 4 times. I'm just having a good time. I don't know. But I will go on the record saying that I avoided that trap.
That catastrophe, that cat ass trophy.
Word. So then,
Catastrophe and cat ass trophy.
another night, different person. This is kind of really bizarre and just like fucking.
It's the same word but backwards. What?
What? Yeah. She was both of those things. See ass. You say ass trophy?
Cat ass trophy.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Like,
like
what?
imagine a deer mounted on a wall, but a cat, but it's just his back legs.
Word.
Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of, no, there was this dude one night on the patio bar. Back to the other bar where I started from, and this guy, he had like, it was like really busy as fuck, right? It was like ladies' night and shit, so there's people everywhere, and he's kind of
Yeah.
like, you can just, I noticed him because he had a fucking a crutch, just like one singular crutch under like his arm, and
He
he
had
had
a cat
like,
ass trophy.
yeah, and then he had his like one of his legs, like from his like upper calf down, like to like this entire foot was like all wrapped
You just
up.
had one crutch?
Yeah, like he was like trying to stay off like his
Just
fucking
one foot?
Yeah. And the weird part was like, 'cause I was walking around like busting and going back to the bar or whatever. I noticed like he was all like fresh, right? Just like you know when you go out to like a club or whatever,
Yeah.
night scene, and
Oh,
you're just
yeah.
like all like dressed up nicely or whatever. And so he looked like decent, and his cast looked like it was fucking brand new. Like he almost just like got it or did it himself. It was fucking weird. It was like bandaged up and shit.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't like a hard one, but yeah. No, it was just fucking like, I'm like, so, I was like, that's just weird, you know? Like, first off, like, that gives me weird vibes. And I'm kind of intrigued now because you're sketchy as fuck and I'm keeping my eye on you, whatever. And then later on in the night, like, he's trying to mind his own business, but I can tell he's like kind of like checking out the ladies, like scoping or whatever, seeing like who's there and what's,
He's creeping around.
Yeah. right? Like, he's hunting or prowling, whatever the fuck. You know, stalker motherfucker. But anyways, he's like, I come back around and like next time he's like, I see him, he's like fumbling with stuff out of his pocket and shit, and he pulls like his cell phone out, and I like fucking like all of a sudden like 3 condoms fall out of his fucking pocket on the
Party
floor.
balloons.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like, 'cause I see like the gold like shiny wrappers and shit,
Yeah.
and of course they're like fucking magnums. I'm like, bro, I feel like
There's no way.
looking back, I'm thinking like, oh, it's like Always Sunny when he's like, oh, I dropped my Magnum condom from my huge dong. Like, does anyone see this?
My Magnum condom.
Yeah. So he drops. Like, I see him and he sees me, and I'm just like looking at the floor, and I'm like making this like, oh, gotta get those, or someone's gonna pick them up, or you have to. He's like, oh shit, man, and he goes and like bends over like awkwardly, but like fast, like scoop him up, whatever.
And then you see he's wearing panties.
I didn't miss that part, but then my mind is like just all over the place. I'm like, now I'm thinking like my first initial thought is like, this is like a Ted Bundy thing. Like, yeah, I got this crutch and my leg's injured, but
He's not
you wanna
really
fuck?
injured.
Like,
Yeah.
Or like, you want to walk me to my car, or I can.
And then I'll smash you with my fucking.
Yeah, right.
Let me put this sled on top of my car.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
In Florida.
Yeah.
It was just a bizarre like, why is your leg? Like he was faking it the whole like I don't know, and then the whole condom thing on the floor. I'm like, I was like, what is? I couldn't put my finger on like, what are your intentions or what's your motive here? Like, are you gonna hobble or like chase some girl or like get the whole sympathy hookup
He's got
thing?
a tripod, bro. A kickstand, if you will.
I'll have to take his word for it. But yeah, it was bizarre, and I feel like you know when you walk in on someone that like they're doing something like, oh, like it could be whatever. And they're like, it's not what it looks like, I swear. And you're just like, dude, this is exactly what it looks like.
It's
That was the kind of
exactly what
like
it looks like.
the look and the vibe. And I looked at him and looked at what he dropped. I'm just like, what's going on, dude? And then he
It's
just,
not my wallet.
yeah, so he scoops up really fast and puts the shit back in his pocket. I'm like, dude, you're fucking, like, fuck that guy. I guess that's one way to pick up chicks. I don't know.
Just drop.
Yeah.
just like you're feeding birds.
Dude, it's-
like you're
yeah.
feeding bread.
It was total, like, Ted Bundy / like, Buffalo Bill vibes. Like, can you help me?
Oh, he asked you to.
No, I'm just thinking, like, that's his probably, like, MO or, like, yeah,
I seem to have dropped my Magnum condom.
right.
Do
Maybe he
you
was
mind
yeah.
bending over and picking that up for me?
Dude, my mind's fucking. I start like wandering, like analyzing like different scenarios. Where, like,
Speaking of people with handicap, You know this guy. There's a dude. He's a frequent at one of the places we both have worked at. He's only got one leg, and before I like actually got to know him, I thought he was a creature because he looks like a creature and walks, talks, and sounds, acts like a creature too. But before I like really met him and got to know him, he talks shit, and you have to know him to understand that he's talking shit. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. You have to know him to understand he's talking shit. Like it's all love from him. But I've heard him like threaten to kick people's asses before, and I'm like, he's only got one leg.
You're talking about I used to work there, right?
Yeah. He's only got one leg.
So yeah, what that reminds me, the same guy.
Like, are you gonna back that up?
Yeah, I never understood that.
Swing real hard, huh?
I always thought like he would like talk his shit or whatever and say his piece, and then they probably like I'm assuming what happened was like someone would be like what, like all peacock and like
oh yeah,
like puffed out chest, and they go around the bar because he said usually across the bar from like far away on the other side, but he'd yell it loud enough, and then like they'd probably like if anyone ever like got up and like stood up and walked around, they'd be like I want to fuck you over, beat your ass over, and they see that the dude's literally missing a leg. So then, like, what do you do at that point other than be like, "Oh,
dude's like a real"?
that would just, I feel like that would just like deflate most people because you can never say you
gotta be a real piece of shit to hit a guy that only has one leg.
If you beat some like an older man because he's an older gentleman,
he's older too.
Gentleman, whatever. But he's a nice guy. But yeah, just runs his mouth a lot. But even if you beat his ass, he's got one fucking leg.
You're like, wow, look at you. You're the guy that beat a dude with one leg. Like,
I mean. I'm not underestimating his strength, but I feel like all you have to do is like pull the bar stool out from under him. I
specifically have heard this man before say, "I'll come over there and kick your ass."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can back that
up. I
was
like, dude, I'll pay you the money out of my wallet right now to watch
like,
that.
See it.
Yeah. So one time, like people sit down at the bar and like, everyone's like joking, like shooting the shit, whatever. But then like jokes start going a little too far, and it gets really awkward and uncomfortable. So these like two, he was there already because he's like the earlier like regular guy, or like 3-4 o'clock kind of drinker. And then these like 3 kids come in. They're like young, whatever. It's like a blonde chick and then like 2 Hispanic dudes. And someone brings up like immigration in like Texas and New Mexico and Mexico, whatever. And then they start talking about how like they're illegal immigrants or whatever. And then the one kid, and they're all like making jokes like, oh yeah, like go get a job or like go back to work. Yeah, the 2 Hispanic dudes with the one blonde girl, yeah. And I could already tell like they've been like drinking or like probably there was something wrong with them, like they were already like fucked up or whatever. So like I'm bartending too, so I'm just like kind of like all right, here's your drinks, like I'm gonna keep my eye on you, whatever. And so they're making the jokes about like illegal immigration or illegal immigrants or whatever. And then the one kid is like, yeah man, I'm an illegal alien straight up, like I don't have a fucking social security or whatever. But he speaks like perfect English and like he's from here.
Yeah, that happens.
I know. I'm thinking like, all right, so you got to like bullshitting or like. You've been here long enough, or like you were raised in the States. I don't know, whatever. I think he's just talking shit, whatever. And the one guy, and then our guy's like saying like, yeah, I bet you pimp out that fucking like calling like all these different types of like horror like, and like shit, yeah. Like, and like, he's saying like out loud,
yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, dude. I'm like, also I'm like tense shoulders.
Shut off the motorboat, brother.
Yeah, he's like, and he starts like just talking about the girl, but like looking at her. Out loud, like describing her and like how she's like.
There.
He was calling like a floozy and shit, and like words I don't even remember. I was like, bro, is that like an insulting term for like a female? I don't know. I just heard words I never heard before from like it's like old timey words, I guess. Like I'm sure if you Googled it, like oh yeah.
Old men can be pretty fucking
knowledgeable on insults.
Like. Haven't heard that one since fucking
fell off your dinosaur. But yeah, it was weird too because like the girl did not seem to give a shit or she wasn't fazed by anything the guy was saying. And I'm assuming because he was like an older guy. And, it was just weird. And they were trash. Like they were fucking like tattoos like on their like face and shit. Like that's why I was kind of like I don't know like maybe gang affiliated.
Oh yeah, I've definitely served people like that before.
Or yeah, you're like
and then like a flock of them come in and they sit at a table, but they like don't really order anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I'm always like I have to be like careful. Wonder I'm like dude
I thought I might have. I don't know if I've told you this before, if I said it on a podcast, but I had a dude come back one time and.
Oh yeah, he asked you to find.
Give me cash. He's like, I might have dropped a baggie, homie.
I think I might have mentioned it before too. I did find a baggie one time, like during like lunch rush, like at like noon or 1, and I scooped her right up because like there's other families and kids.
Oh
And I'm
yeah,
like,
you
bro,
gotta
you can't
fucking
have this.
yeah.
And that guy did come back in, and he asked me and the bartender. I happened to be like right there with him. And I was like, yeah, dude, like this is his. I gave it to the bartender, and he gave it to us, or gave it back to him. He was like, oh, thank you, bro. Like blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, that's so like. I think it was like right at their table too. I was like busting and shit, and it was like a no harm, no foul kind of thing. Like, what else are you gonna do? Like, call the cops and
Yeah.
like raise, like make a scene and raise hell. And like that, like same thing. Like I don't know, the most dangerous people are the ones that act like they have nothing to lose. And maybe that's true, or maybe it's not. But like you don't want to fuck around and find out.
Oh yeah.
And if you are walking around with like drugs in your pocket, like middle of the day, and like your crew is like looking a certain type of way, it's like I'd rather not find out what you're about. And like obviously, like my approach is, unless they're hurting other people or like causing a problem, like it's not my fucking business.
Like, don't make it my business.
Like I'm not a savior, or like I guess like trying to be a hero or like do the right thing, or like what do you like the dare officer, like the cartoon dog, like say no to
the
drugs.
cat, the lion.
Yeah, wearing like the dare t-shirt. I remember, if anything, correct me if I'm wrong, but that whole dare program that came from Miami, best intentions, started with the best intentions, like trying like mothers and people. Yeah, like yeah, we were, dude. That's why. Yeah, it's just, the whole point of that was to scare the shit out of you to not do drugs. But if I remember correctly, like it was just a complete failed program, like the FCAT trying to help kids do better in life and like not do drugs. And but their MO was to fucking just show you a shit ton of terrifying things and scare the living daylights out of you from doing drugs. Which I guess in the reverse psychology kind of thing, it can make you more intrigued to dabble. But for me, it put the fear of God. But it also like
You have to write an essay on why you will never do drugs.
yeah, right, yeah. I remember the one officer
I will
like
never do drugs because
he brought like a suitcase of confiscated like needles, heroin, crack, like coke and meth and shit. But it was all like in a case that you couldn't touch. But it was like a plexiglass kind of thing.
Oh wow.
And he opened it up and he's like, "These are used heroin needles. This is that. These are bags of this. This is marijuana." And then he showed like a video for each side effect of what those drugs were and where your life would end up. Bro, we were in 5th grade at the time. What was that, like 9, 8, 9, 10 years old?
Sure.
He's like, if you do or touch this, this will be your life.
I think you're like 10 years old.
And the cop is like this big, like over, like empowering dude that just like, obviously you're gonna take authority like at the order. Yeah. But obviously, like, I didn't know what those hard drugs were until that class, and he's like, "You guys need to know about this because this is what happens." And then he'd bring up Miami sometimes, so then I'm thinking in my head like, "Oh, bad things happen in Miami," or like,
never go to Miami.
yeah, like bad people or bad things come from Miami, like because that's where the program also like initially started from, like I said earlier.
Then I went home and watched Scarface.
You ever like watch the cops and like they bust in the door of like they have, like a warrant and they kick the door in or whatever, or like a search and seizure kind of thing? I think that's what it's called. Whatever, and they're performing like the warrant search, and they'll see I remember one guy commented, an officer commented like, "Oh, Scarface poster." That's a typical calling card or like poster for a wannabe drug dealer or drug lord. He's like, "You're not a drug dealer unless you have that hanging up on your wall."
God damn it, it's true.
All right. How do they know this? It's like they've done this before. You ever have any family that's like in law enforcement?
A cousin.
Like what is he? Like a officer or detective? Or...
Every level of law enforcement ever, I think.
Yeah, right. It's like an open-ended question.
Like, but like for real.
Yeah. No. So once, like when I had a Challenger for like a couple of years and whatever, and I remember when I first got it, I took it to Orlando to show like my parents and my family, and I asked one of my cousins like, "Hey, you want to like see the inside or like take it for a spin?" He's like, "No, I've stopped enough of these and seized enough of them and been inside them, took them apart. I'm good." I was like, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah,
like, he was like, "No, I've already seen about like 20 of them," and I'm like,
and they're better than any of them.
Yeah,
This one right here.
And I'm thinking like, so that was a dig, A, and then I'm thinking like, B, is he saying that I bought like a drug dealer's like typical car?
Yeah.
Like I didn't. That was not my intention. Like,
Wait, what are you trying to say?
yeah, I was like, damn, dude. Like, and then I'm thinking like, you insulted me like more than like 10 ways, and I'm still like thinking about it. You know, when like someone walks by, you're like, that's cool. If you're a fucking loser, like kind of thing, like
fucking really like a
and it's like
compliment.
a brand new car that you're super proud of. So it's just like, oh, I'm still a loser. Cool. Like that's the kind of person he was. But I thought it was funny.
Yeah, you fucking loser.
I didn't think about it too. I was like, why is he seeing the inside of so many of these models of cars? I'm like, oh, because he's like SWAT and shit, and like, if
Yeah.
you're dealing with him, like, you're pretty much up shit's creek. But yeah, back to drugs.
Drugs and alcohol.
That reminds me too. One time, I mean, I've been propositioned to be like a distributor, seller. I don't know, like you give me X amount of X,
really?
and then I'll like get rid of it for you or like sell it off or whatever.
A soldier, bro.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not like muling. This is how much I'm
you're
so like
fucking-
ignorant
you're a soldier
to.
on the chain.
Yeah, but then like the kind of people that approach you with this proposition, you don't want to say no to, but you don't want to disrespect or like offend. So I'm thinking to myself like, how do I politely back out? Like not that I even like agreed or said yes to anything. I'm just like, how do I say fuck no in the politest, most sensible
Respectfully,
terms? Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. Because I remember one time this guy, he was like, yeah, man, like I moved this and blah, 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 like make a fuck ton of money. And I'm like, I'm trying to get back in the game. I'm like, back in the game? I was like, because like you have to have this, like, you have to have conversation with people, whatever. And they're trying to like, basically like, everyone's like doing a sales pitch to you. If you're not like, you don't know them, you're meeting them, you're talking to them. And then I'm like, oh, what do you do? Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, obviously I bartend. I'm like, well, and you tell them like going to college, this and that. And they tell you about their life and like all these like menial conversations that you just have to do, like, or have with people while like you're serving them, else you're just standing there like a bump on the log, whatever. Or like if you're not talking with them, you're kind of like weird, you know?
Yeah.
So it gets down to like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get back in the game. I'm like, back in the game from what? And he goes, I just like got out like from doing like 2 or 3 years, I think he said. I'm like, for what? And he goes, I almost beat a guy to death with my fucking hands. I'm like,
beat a guy to death.
Yeah, so he's like, and like, the dude, this guy he was like fucking like.
It sounds like Soldier Boy.
Yeah, no, but he says it like so like straight face, like monotone and like cold, you know, where like it doesn't matter or mean anything. And I'm like, oh, that's terrifying, but I don't say anything. And then he's just like, you want to help me do this? You want to help me out with this? I'm like, bro, what?
People, I don't know, like,
rain check?
I don't know where, but like people, I guess in the past in history and maybe like still today in shady parts, look to bartenders also for like drugs. Or like, hey, who do you know who can get me this?
Yeah, and I'm like almost positive, obviously, this is probably being
even
naive.
like now today, I could point you towards.
Right. No, so I'm thinking like
I could go to work tonight.
I think it's like an age-old thing where like everyone like, oh, bartenders, they have the connection because obviously like they serve hundreds of people a day, and if not
know where they go to make exchanges.
Yeah, they meet like 1,000 different people.
Goddamn parking lot.
So they just assume like, oh, bartenders must have all the connections, which usually like in a small town you do have a lot of connections. Obviously, like, you know a lot of people.
The bartender talks to everybody, especially in a small town.
Yeah, like you meet like I've known
here
like,
though, where there's like
yeah.
Even like still though, I feel like our like 6-bar square down here.
Just that, even though it's like a small microcosm, but yeah, you know like
it's like
everyone,
even still like
you kind of know like who does what, and who, which like we're not airing out anyone's like dirty laundry. It's just like weird how like it's like that. It's like 6
very
degrees.
Compact and people talk.
Yeah, it's like 6 degrees of like Kevin Bacon, where like, you know what I mean, like you play that game.
Yeah.
Where
large world, but also small world.
You mentioned one name. That name is connected to like 5 other people, which connects to like someone else or whatever. So yeah, I've been asked a lot like by people that are like, do you know where I can get this or that at like this time of night? And I'm just like, nah, dude. Because at the same time, like, what if they're trying to get you to narc on someone, or like that's another thing too. I remember one time this kid sometimes like you work with dealers who are peddling shit that you kind of like catch on to and like wisen up, like, yo, why does this guy have to run out to the back to the parking lot like so many amounts of times, like some X amount of times, and just constantly going out, going out, coming back.
Why is this guy always going to sit in his truck?
Yeah, right.
in the middle of a lunch rush.
So one time, this guy, like, I'm just picking up glasses and shit, and I'm still bar biking at this time, and this guy out of nowhere, he's like, hey, do you know like so and so? Like, ask for him by his first and last name, and then he's like, I'm just trying to find him because I'm from out of town. And he's like, I'm from Minnesota, blah, blah, blah. And he starts like telling me, like, I'm just like, hey, how can I help you? And he starts like unloading all these like answers to questions I never asked.
Life story.
Yeah, like I didn't ask for anything. And he's like, yeah, I'm just looking for him because I'm back in town, trying to have a good time, and like meet some people and they want me to like get them some stuff. I'm like, bro, like I never met like an undercover before, but if I had to guess, like you're a bad one. You're like a pretty obvious,
you,
like
brother.
yeah. Like I've never had someone the way he like asked me so specifically for this one dude. And if it was anyone at that bar working at the time, I would have put money on him being the guy that would get caught doing that kind of shit.
Wow.
And this guy just like, oh yeah, like I'm from Minnesota. I'm like, don't care. I'm doing this and this. Never asked. And I just need to find him, and I just want to ask to see if he's got it. He's like, ask me if he has stuff with him. I'm like, don't know, don't care. And I'm like, sorry, haven't seen him. I don't know. Like he might have been there, but it's just like
some random fucking bartender you just met, and you're asking him like,
yeah,
excuse me,
by full name. And
yeah,
shit, like,
fucking.
Telling me your life story and why you need to talk to this guy, and I'm just like,
maybe he's the ops, bro.
yeah.
He's looking to.
So I went and told, I think a couple days later, I told the kid that, and he's like, who? I'm like, bro, it's so-and-so from Minnesota. He's looking for you. He's like, who? I'm like, your friend, dude. I don't know. He's like, fuck that. I'm like, well, I told you. So
He wanted to see if you could move some gear.
yeah, in prison. Yeah.
I had some dude, I was walking down the street of Las Vegas one time, and I had some dude grab me by the arm and ask me if I wanted some crank. I don't know what crank is. But
Same here in Vegas. Yeah, on the strip, whatever. This
that
guy
was
like,
broad daylight, middle of the strip. Yeah.
yeah, we were out. It was like, it was
We're
like
just walking
public,
in like
right?
the
Yeah.
herds of people who are going this way and
Yeah.
this way, and so he just grabs my arm and he goes, "You want some crank?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Right when we walked out there, when we were there, like last September, not 2 years ago. Sorry. This guy's like talking to me and two others, and he's like, "You guys want some coke?" Like just like that, out like loud in front of everyone. We're like, "No, dude." And he's like, "No, my buddy's right here. Like, we can hook you up." I'm like,
I don't think they
No.
give a fuck in Las
"Yeah,
Vegas,
it's so
bro.
fucking." You get, like the half naked like women and dudes like taking pictures, or whatever.
Yeah, and then like every like crosswalk, there's people handing out cards with like a picture and a phone number
Oh yeah, like
of a
fucking-
half naked chick.
yeah, call girls, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta go out and see that. shit to believe it.
Newsflash:
All right.
the girl on the picture is not the girl
Yeah.
that shows up to your room.
That is so bizarre. Meanwhile, in
Mhm.
Florida, I mean, we just have the keys. Where the guy like taps you on the shoulder, like, "Hey, I got live nudes upstairs." Like, what? He's like, "Dude, there's live nudes."
Yeah.
And then like he
Oh,
points to the
shit.
stairs.
What's the name of that bar?
I don't know. I just remember walking down the
Yeah.
sidewalk and fucking, and the guy could not be like the most like methed out like crystal
And
fucking.
let me
yeah.
tell you, the people who go to those new bars upstairs, it's like an outdoor bar upstairs on the roof
That's
of
how
a building.
yeah, one of my friends described it, and it's like old
and it's
crusty.
it's a clothing optional. You have to go inside to go upstairs. That takes you back outside because it's an outside bar.
and it's
upstairs.
mostly like old naked people or some shit.
And the people who were up there were not
Meant to be
people
seen
who
naked.
should be up there.
I hear that's how it is at nudist colonies too, which apparently we have. I think we
Yeah.
have like one or two in Naples. I know one for sure.
There's one around here for sure somewhere.
Yeah, I have been told that lanyards are a big seller with them. I was like, lanyards, why? And that's simply because when they're walking around, they need their wallet and their cash and their phone.
A lanyard so you can hang it around your neck.
Yeah, because they have no.
Then
Obviously
you're
have no-
wearing something.
Yeah, but they have nothing else to hold anything, so makes sense.
Like a belt.
Would that be too far into?
And just wear it like a. Why stop at lanyards? Why not a backpack?
Well, I'm saying, well, yeah, but then it gets to too far. Like now you're wearing too much, bro.
Yeah, okay, but like if you pick.
I don't know.
Where's this?
What
Why
if
just
you-
a lanyard?
What if you wore a hat? Like, would you be shunned from the community?
Yeah, a hat with a pocket on it so you could put
I
shit
would
in
say,
there.
like,
Nudist colonies.
I have so many questions now, but I don't know if we would ever or could ever have a nudist on here. Well, I think they have to dress. I remember someone was telling me they have to wear.
We could
clothes.
all be naked.
Yeah. Or just blur out everything. We're just like sitting here. We're like blurred.
Can I get like a physical blur? to
Yeah,
put
like, no.
on it?
It'd be like 3 or 4 like blurs, and we're just talking.
It's like we're walking and
reasons
talking, but the blurs in
unknown.
a way so you still see it.
Trust me, we're all naked. We're just blurred out for YouTube censorship's sake. Or if you're just listening to this, we're all naked right now. Lies. Yeah, I think when they have to put on clothes when they have to go in town or whatever, because God forbid, like, oh, I have to go in town, like, fucking be amongst the clothed people. Like, they refer to it as something like they're like they're like blending,
clothed?
yeah, they're like blending in with like
The cupboard.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure like we're the losers for wearing clothes because they're the ones keeping it real. We're like
not, we're not primal. Like
we're not living free. Yeah. So we're like the fucking primitive. But it's like a weird reverse like psychological move where like you guys are so far behind that we're ahead because we're living like our ancestors, and you guys have like gone.
I don't fucking get it. I don't know.
You guys have like
it's not even
regressed into like infancy or immaturity. I'm like, I'll take your insults any day.
I don't know.
How do we allow like? Because anywhere else, it's indecent exposure. I'm sure you'll get arrested.
That's why they have colonies
and labeled like a sex offender or some shit. Like,
I think so.
But in like a certain perimeter, you can be naked all the time. God bless America.
Hell yeah.
And nudist beaches, which I have not yet gone to. I don't know if I desire to, but I'll do some soul searching on that.
France, right?
No, there's some in Florida. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
I believe so.
Draw me like one of your Floridian girls. It'd be the Catch Me Outside girl.
Which county are we talking about? Which part? And are they really from Florida?
Or do they just live here half the year?
I don't want to see a naked snowbird. That would imply that they're much older.
Again, it's just people you would not want to see naked anyway.
Picture
further proving our point.
Picture your middle school teachers that were just old and
your middle school gym teacher. What do they look like now? And then imagine them naked.
And that's what you get.
Laying on a beach.
You're welcome. I hope that haunts you. You know, someone might comment like, dude, my gym teacher, if it was a female or whatever, was hot as fuck. Do you have a picture?
Yearbook. I don't
just
have
blur
all
their
my
face.
Yearbooks.
Fuck yearbooks.
I have like my senior year yearbook. Maybe, if I look somewhere.
You know what yearbooks do? They're like, oh man, it's like blackmail. There's a picture of me. I tried out for the tennis team for like a week.
Really?
Yeah. And I sucked.
Are you like bent over, like huffing and puffing?
It was like an awkward, like, it's not even worth finding the fucking picture, but it's somewhere. I don't know why I keep these things, but yeah, it's me like looking like a fucking idiot.
Do you even know how to play tennis?
Yeah, motherfucker. But I sucked. I wasn't that good compared to these fucking
I can play
kids.
Table tennis.
Beat your ass on that too.
You have every time we played.
Anyways, it's like, oh, the tennis team of like 2010 or whatever, and like it was the first week, and I just like did it for a week or whatever, and I'm not knocking on tennis. I fucking played it for like 2 years as a kid. I liked it. I like racquetball, whatever. Judge me. And I just never got that good or whatever. And then I said like, yo, I'm way out of my fucking league with these kids because they're all like, they've been doing this their entire lives, and I suck, and I don't care to continue on anymore. And so I guess the yearbook kids, they go around school, right? Which is kind of like fucking those kids who like go around school taking pictures of whatever the fuck they want or go wherever they want to do.
Oh yeah, that's how they got out of class.
Yeah,
just to go be like, we're taking pictures. For the yearbook.
So they're like around. And this is like after school program stuff. Like so, there's kids with cameras everywhere. Not everywhere, but like they just be around.
Oh yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
I guess I don't know. Like I didn't know there was a kid taking pictures.
I remember.
Yeah, so the picture of me looked like an idiot, and I remember I had like a neon hat, like one of those like neon hunter hats for whatever reason I'm wearing, and it's just stupid. And then they're like, "Oh, this is the tennis team." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm not on the tennis team." But yeah, there's a big picture of me in there. And I'm like, what the fuck?
On the tennis team.
Yeah, so then the people are like, I mean, it doesn't matter. Just, I don't give a fuck. It's just like awkward and funny that people are like, what? I'm like, no, I don't know, dude.
You're like fucking Jeffrey Dahmer. you're a part of every club.
I go put on an outfit or a uniform, like, and then jump into a picture and be like, and like leave. And then you're in the fucking yearbook.
That's hilarious. If I knew then what I know now.
like take a picture with the Key Club or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
All these like different organizations.
Yep.
I don't think anyone would have caught that kind of shit then either.
I would have joined the minorities club.
And then like you put on your resume for like college applications, and they'd be like, "You weren't fucking a part of this." I'm like, "Bro, my picture is in there.
My picture's in the yearbook.
Suck it, dude." That's me in the top further back.
I don't
left
care what my
corner.
transcripts say.
That's my face.
Yearbook doesn't
way
fucking
up there.
lie.
Yeah. In the corner of the gymnasium. I'm in that fucking picture.
We took so many pictures in the Marine Corps like that, where there's like 1,000 guys squeezed into one picture, and you're like, you see that guy in the top? You can't see, but there's 7 rows behind him. I'm way back there. I'm like, nah.
And like, not to like be mean or anything, but like all like after a while, like everyone looks the fucking like identical, like same.
Oh, absolutely.
Like just a white cap
Yeah.
and you're all just like,
You're like a white face, and then you can see the hair.
I don't know about white face, but
For me.
Yeah.
I'm
in there somewhere.
Just apologize and take us out of the picture. Don't throw us in the 7th row behind the top row.
Yeah, right.
Just apologize and say you didn't make the cut.
That reminds me of like the whole football team when there's like 80 to 90 kids on your team. Like, god damn, bro. Some of high schools are like that. Like, it's like every fucking male in the class is like on the team somehow.
Wow.
And like it fills up like a whole entire like
Really?
bleacher. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're the bleachers.
Like the camera guy has to like be in the middle of the field to like get everyone in the fucking frame, and it's like, why are we doing this? What's the point of this?
Yeah.
Because there's like 10 of us that are actually like worth a damn, you know? And they're all in the front row.
Yeah.
It's like all you need is like these 10 superstars that are gonna go to college, and the rest.
They're the ones like holding the sign that says.
Right. And the rest are just
football team 2022.
The rest are like the body bags you just like throw at them to get fucking obliterated.
The practice squad. Bro.
That reminds me, I don't remember. Now I'm curious. I was like, go find out. I did wrestling for like a year and a half.
I did wrestling for like.
I don't remember. I don't think we took pictures in
a
singlets.
summer.
Yeah. Can you imagine, bro? It's a fucking singlet picture, and you're just like, I know my stepdad has one, but he's like, you know, the classic like, ready to like grapple kind of thing. Yeah, you know, like, dude.
You're doing it just for the picture too.
I wonder if like back then, like this is like the 70s, early 80s. I wonder if like, you take that picture to like your dad at the time, if he's like a hard ass, he's like, what the fuck are you wearing? Or why'd you bring me this photo? Like, I want to make you proud. Get that shit out of my face. I mean, I can only imagine it was a different time in the 80s, 70s. If your father was around.
Mullets and mustaches.
Yeah. He's got plenty of those pictures too.
Friend.
Yeah, somehow.
My dad did too, and he won't admit it.
Dude, my dad has a mullet too.
It's a mullet, but he's like, it's not a mullet. No, Dad, it's a fucking mullet.
I have pictures of my dad in the 80s with a mullet and a fucking pencil stash, and he's like, no, it's not what it looks like. I'm like, dude,
it's exactly what it looks like.
And you just told me that Miami Vice came out then, and he was in Miami at the time, and you're trying to deny what you were going after there? Or what you're trying to like achieve in your
My
look?
Ferrari was white like Don Johnson in Miami Vice.
That'd be cool if you had a Ferrari. But yeah, a picture of my dad, like it looks fucking just like me, and he denies it. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fucking grow. I'm gonna do what you did in that picture, and then I'm gonna tell you it's not what you think it is, which I am currently working on.
I really know exactly what picture you're talking about.
I got a couple.
I think you sent it to me before.
Yeah, I have it somewhere. I'll ask him, but I'm pretty sure I can post it. Just be like, here's that picture of my mullet wearing dad. If anyone gave a fuck.
Wait until you can recreate that picture.
Oh yeah, true.
And then we'll do it side by side.
Hell yeah. I'll wear like the same fucking like
you should.
It's like a blue button-up shirt,
Yeah.
and he's got like the fucking like dark aviators, you know. Or like they're on the table, but yeah. Fucking pencil stash, dude. Pretty gnarly. And then my stepdad likes to picture him like wearing like this like short cut off like jeans, you know.
Oh
like,
yeah, my dad
where,
had too.
like, your fucking thighs are exposed, and then you have like a short shirt on and just
like
living
a crop top.
not like kind of like cropped up, but not
My
like
dad wore
not like
crop
Top
tops.
Gun kind of. But yeah, and then like the picture, like they're so like assured of themselves. Like they're so like, this is masculinity like at its peak right now.
Oh yeah.
Like I am the alpha male.
In a way, it still
Yeah.
kind of is, but I think it is.
It's come back for sure. But
It
yeah,
is
like
kind
I'm
of
like, dude,
peak masculinity.
I want that confidence, bro.
I know.
Like how the fuck?
I don't know.
And gas was like, what, 50 cents or some shit? Like I want to say 25 cents.
Probably. Yeah, it's like $1,
Yeah.
bro.
That's what it's funny. Like I try to like make fun or like bust my parents' balls, and they're like, dude, I could fill my tank up and like go to the other fucking side of the country for like $20-$30.
I just filled up the other day for 40.
I just
From
filled up for,
empty.
I just filled up for 75.
Well, yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so my point with that was like they're always just like, dude, like I was living my best life in the 80s. Among other reasons. No, they weren't a part of the cocaine culture. That's funny as shit. It's like the dare officer would tell me like these crazy stories, and then like as I grew older, my dad like he went to college in Miami because he was like fuck Ohio and like going back to Indianapolis and shit. He just wanted to get the fuck out of the north and come down here. And he would tell me later that he had roommates that were like slinging coke, and they got so like paranoid and sketched out that they were fucking like they were losing their fucking minds. And one time the cops like kicked in their door and arrested the guy or whatever.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, what? Again, it's in Miami.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, yeah, I had roommates who were just like coked out and like they started dabbling and shit, and then it just like progressed into a whole like, yeah, let's start selling this for a living. And they're like 20, and they're like 19, 21, 20s.
Yeah, they're in college. They're
19,
like
21. How the fuck?
19,
I just
20,
skipped 20 years old.
20, 20.
Yeah. And then I'm like I guess in hindsight, it's like, wow, I guess my dare officer was right.
Don't go to Miami.
And then I'm looking at my dad.
That's
weird.
all I learned
Yeah.
from Dare.
Like, Dad, you were in Miami. Are you one of them?
A Miamian.
He's like a Heisenberg.
A Miamian. Right? A Miamian.
I never thought about that. I don't know. I feel like, are we like just proving our point from the intro that we're trying to like disprove that there's more to Florida than
Miami.
oh shit. I guess I don't know. I don't really fuck with Miami a lot because traffic is so like insane. Like most major cities, I just don't like going there. And then yeah, I feel like it's just too touristy. And first off, the interstates.
God, when I flew into that airport,
yeah, it's the equivalent of like LAX, like Miami
oh
International.
my God,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's like these fucking cities with these gigantic airports. I feel like Orlando International. I think it's called Orlando. Yeah, I believe. I'll have to fact check that shit. But yeah, they're all like, I mean, that one's not as bad, but it's still pretty hectic and like just crazy. But it's just so weird how like somehow you have to like go through this maze of like people and shit. There's so much like going on, and like as long as I can remember, Miami International has been under construction before I was even born. Like it just will always be
I don't
under
know, but
construction.
I will never ever use that airport again.
Yeah, I know. I remember one time when I was like younger.
I'm sure some people like it, but
this girl was telling me that she'll drive like 4 hours to Orlando to get a cheaper flight and not to deal with those other like fucking airports or whatever.
yeah, you know what? I almost don't even blame her.
And at first I was kind of like, that's ridiculous, and now I'm like, that makes sense. But then also when you're coming on your way back home, like you land in that city and they have to drive another 4 hours to get home. Like, nah, fuck that. But then you want to kill yourself when you're in the airport.
Yeah.
But also like for like big, like if you're like leaving the country, I don't know where'd you have to go when you like went to Germany, right, and other countries?
Yeah, I stopped in Germany, Canada.
But like, what airport did you leave to get there? Because I had to go to Miami.
We left out of an Air Force base.
That makes sense. I'm a fucking idiot. Must be nice. No.
It was still a regular commercial air flight with commercial flight attendants and everything. Though. Except like they had
Sounds a lot better though than.
It's like the government had chartered the jet.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Reminds me
Yes, I don't know.
I was in Charlotte in the layover. There's a shit. I don't see this a lot, but it just caught my eye. It was like semen everywhere. I mean, everywhere.
It's
Like
ectoplasms.
They
There's
were
a ghost.
They were in like their white. It was like naval.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just never. I don't like. I hardly ever see that. I don't know. Then again, I'm not really flying
They're
through.
wearing their wait. Where was this? Charlotte? I don't
Yeah,
know. There's
North Carolina.
maybe there's a base up there. I don't know. Probably.
Isn't like one of the biggest like boot camps? Their Fort something's up there.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. I know it's not Fort Knox, but I'm pretty sure like when you join like one of the
I
first
don't know
boot
where our
camps you
Navy's
get.
boot camp is.
Yeah. Please feel free to comment that.
Yeah,
I mean, you can look it up like right now. Like type that in
could.
if it mattered.
I think it depends.
It's not even called boot camp. What's it called?
I mean, you can call it
Basic
boot camp.
training?
Basic training, or like in the Marine Corps, it was recruit training.
Basic training, North Carolina. Fort.
It's in Illinois.
What?
Carolina. Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, how do you not know this, dude?
Oh my God, bro. Camp Lejeune.
Not what I was thinking it was called. What?
Well, there is Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune, which a lot of seamen might probably are
It's like
stationed at.
overflowing semen.
Yes.
Heard.
I was thinking of Navy bases. I didn't even think of Marine Corps
Oh,
bases.
true. I did say, yeah, we started talking about Navy.
Yeah, I've been there.
I was saying like they have a huge like military presence.
Yeah,
in that state.
Yeah, I've been to Camp Lejeune.
I need.
But technically,
I feel like if you're a Marine, like before you like die, you have to go through there at least one point. It's like a rite of passage.
Maybe.
Well, it's like that's the East Coast one, and then there's another one like Texas or West Coast or whatever.
Yeah, it's in San Diego.
What's that one called?
San Diego. Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego.
Like the fort or whatever the base is called.
Recruit Depot, San Diego. Just like the other one is
Amongst,
Paris Island.
Yeah, amongst the San Diegans. San Diegans?
San Diego Inns.
Anchorman.
Well, yeah.
They're like,
San
anyways.
Diegans.
San Diego.
Discovered by the Germans.
Yeah.
They named it San Diego.
Translation was lost centuries ago.
What do you say? But scholars believe it to be a whale's vagina. Doesn't it mean Saint Diego?
You know, I was thinking that is kind of cool. Like when you meet someone and like you can just tell that like they served. Like they're very detail oriented.
Very much so.
And like they're also like very respectful, and like they're out of towners. Like I remember I met one kid. He went to high school. I think he was like a year ahead of me or below me. I don't fucking remember. Below me, don't blow me. But dude, enunciation is key. He told me like he was serving. He was gone for like over 4 years. He just came back, and now he's like trying to get like reintegrated into like Naples, and like he just hasn't been here in town for like X amount of years, and he's asking me like, "What's good?" I'm like, "Bro, Naples is still like, oh, Naples, yeah."
Yeah, it's Naples.
Yeah, he's like, like, it's still the same shit, bro. Like, I don't know. I think he was like trying to become like a firefighter or something. And then it's funny, I've had other guys. I mean, maybe it's just like, you know, everyone like drinks too much. Like when they do drink too much, like you kind of like lose your wherewithal and like respect for people.
Kind of.
But like
yeah.
I feel like even then though, like if you're like a Marine or like a serviceman or a woman, you wouldn't become a complete asshole if you were enlisted. But then I don't know, like, because I've been around other instances with other people where like I'm so and so, I did this and that. I'm like, well, you carry yourself like a douchebag and you're being an asshole to like everyone around you. So it's like I would be embarrassed if I was. And again, like I don't know. Like, you know, like, if you say you're one thing, but you're gonna act like a total dickhead.
Oh yeah.
Like you're embarrassing yourself and the people that you claim to associate that you like are that you uphold to a higher standard. So basically, yeah, like you're being a piece of shit, but you're saying you belong to like the upper echelon of like our community, and so it's like, you know. And then you're just calling out a serviceman or servicewoman. So
Yeah.
I never seen a servicewoman like get. I don't know. There's that whole like trope with like, or a stereotype where like, oh yeah, like veterans like or alcoholics or drink too much, whatever. Which I'm not trying to get into. I'm just saying like I've seen people like get pretty blasted and then yeah, just start like talking like mad shit and then say like, of course they're like they've served and it's like, all right. But then again, I've met cops and firefighters who obviously were human and we're not all perfect and they just fucking turn into monsters. But I digress. Dude, I feel like you're sitting there like you're like, yep, on base or in camp. A lot of it's true. You're just like being tight-lipped. I can tell.
Sometimes.
Bro. Yeah. I mean, if anyone drinks enough, like they're gonna become a freaking war machine.
We've been asked
I remember someone was telling me.
politely and not politely to leave establishments before. It's funny.
Oh. Damn, are you like we were wearing like uniforms or?
No, we don't wear
okay.
uniforms on town. We
Damn.
weren't allowed to.
I mean, I have to believe there's obviously like places where like they have no qualms about kicking out. I mean, I've had to kick out like firemen, police, like whatever, off-duty people. Yeah, like it's gotten to the point where like I don't give a fuck who you are, what you do,
Exactly,
get the fuck out.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like anyone can. That's something like anyone can like.
One time I
down
think
to that
was in
level.
Las Vegas too.
Yeah.
I think they said they were closing down, but I don't know if this place. It's Las Vegas.
They just
I don't think
wanted
it
us to
closes.
leave,
I think
yeah.
they just were like, "You guys need to get the fuck out of here."
Or one time at a bar in Tampa, you know, like the daylight saving
Yeah.
kicks in. So then like 2 a.m. becomes 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Or 3 a.m. becomes 2 a.m.
Yep.
Whichever way. I don't fucking care.
Both ways.
So like so we're like, oh, you guys don't close for another hour, right? And we're all like hammered, and they're like, yeah, but they turned on all the lights, and they're like
they were,
cleaning.
like,
I'm like,
trying to fuck you guys
so
out,
we're
yeah.
good to stay and keep drinking. And they're like, yeah, but and I'm like, is it a problem? They're like, no, but they're like stacking chairs and shit.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck.
Yeah.
Which then you
Full
just move-
circle
you just move
whenever
to the- yeah.
you turn into one of those creatures at the bar
Yeah,
at the end of the
right,
night.
yeah. It was a bachelor party. But then again, it's just another, what's it called? Oh, yeah, one of my professors always like, dude, anyone can do whatever they want to do as long as it fits their narrative, and it all depends on what your narrative is. I'm like, what?
That's true. You make your own narrative.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you see, a documentary at, like, Nature Channel or show of seals on a beach, and they're all trying to attract their mate. He's like, flip the channel over, and you'll see a bunch of people on the beach during spring break. Like, what are they doing? I'm like, oh, all right, fair enough. He's like, it's whatever you want to make it.
Facts.
Yeah.
Life's a garden. Dig it.
With that being said, I think this concludes
Yeah, I think it's a good stopping point.
episode 5.
Got a lot in there.
Indeed. Yeah, a lot of weirdos, a lot of walks of life out there. It's almost like sensory overload, the people you got to meet and run into and deal with. But
Yeah, and you like
I told someone earlier, or a friend a couple days ago, I'm like, I'm glad, for better or for worse, these people that you meet that are out there that you have no idea until you run across them or cross paths. They literally, like, they're the ones that give, like, the salt, like, the flavor to life on Earth. So it's like, where would we be if not for these people that you either, like, detest or loathe or admire or adore? Like, you have to experience all types of, like, flavors, I guess, to, like, appreciate and not appreciate, or just know who you want to be and who you don't want to be like, or whatever. Pretty much yin and yang, so that'll be the name of the episode.
Yin and yang? No.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Please
Thanks for
comment,
tuning in.
Share your stories with people you've met, people you thought were serial killers or saints, or people who you thought were saints but were serial killers, or vice versa. Or if you just happen to run into your dad at your local bar and ask, what are you doing here?
You didn't go to get milk when I was 4. Where have you been?
Yeah, 20 years later.
20 years later.
21 years later. I don't know. Or if they took you to the bar every time when you were a kid. Seen that before, too. Mom and Dad are going to sit here while you watch us get fucking plastered.
Yeah, it happens too often.
Who's going to say anything? Not the bartender. Usually. What?
Anyways.
Yeah, so drop a comment,
Like,
subscribe.
subscribe, comment, follow us on Instagram.
We got a lot more ridiculous stories.
We got content for you. We got content for days. We post every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, new episode goes up. We're trying to be more active on Instagram for starters and promotional nonsense.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time and support. I'm Steve.
I'm Rogers.
This is the Florida Cracker Chronicles.
Signing
Out.
off.